Season over for the Cavs. Tough way to end it. They, I don't know if they played terribly, but I don't think they played good. Really, Orlando was able to run away with this game ultimately. Had a big lead at half. Cleveland was making little runs, but nothing sustained. Every time it looked like they were about to get a comeback started, Orlando would hit a three, and then Cleveland would just go stagnant on offense, and, you know, it is what it is. They really did not play like they didn't play like a championship team. What else can you say? I mean, it reminded me a little bit of the Game 6 of the finals last year with the Lakers and the Celtics, when the Lakers just came out and lay down. The difference being that the Cavs tried to come back a little bit in the second half, whereas the Lakers just completely gave up in the second half. But they pushed a little bit. They got it to within 10 in the third. But ultimately, every time it looked like something was going to get started, Orlando knocked down another three. And, you know, Orlando played great. Again, they were hitting their threes. I'll start with them, I guess. You know, Howard was freaking amazing. Can't say enough about Dwight Howard. 40 points, career playoff high. 14 rebounds. 4 assists. 5 fouls, but he was never in any serious foul trouble, so he stayed out of foul trouble, which is huge. 14 of 21 from the field and 12 of 16 from the line. 6 offensive rebounds, only 2 turnovers, a block. He was the best player on the court tonight, and it wasn't even close. And if Cleveland's in a game against these Magic and LeBron's not the best player on the court, they don't have a shot in hell. I mean, they have it hard enough when LeBron is the best player on the court. So Howard, like I said in the preview video, I knew he had a mismatch in this series, a big matchup advantage. He abused that. He took Varejao and Ilgauskas to the woodshed tonight. Dominant. That's what I expected from him most of this series, and he delivered in the biggest way in the biggest game. Well, what else? Really, everyone else just kind of came around him, but, you know, Rashard Lewis knocking down some threes. He ended up with 18 points and 8 boards. He was solid. Turkoglu, kind of quiet, 10 points, 5 assists, and 7 boards, though, so he was doing his thing. Lee had some timely buckets for them. He was hitting those little side jumpers a lot throughout the game. 8 points, nothing spectacular, but they will absolutely take that from a guy like Courtney Lee. Alston, 13 points, kind of sort of a weak game, but he did hit a couple threes. You know, he was passable, certainly. Petrus, off the bench, again, draining threes. 4 of 7 from 3. 14 points, 5 boards. Again, he was the best bench player in this game, and it wasn't even close. So, you know, what else are you going to say about that? So, big ups to Howard. He proved that, you know, some people have been questioning him lately. Is he a franchise player? Yeah, he's a franchise player. He put this team on his back tonight. Now, Cleveland, I don't know. This team just didn't look ready for the money shot yet. James, I don't want to say he played terribly, because he didn't. He did have 25 points, 7 boards, 7 assists. He did commit a dumb foul or 2. He had a block. He did have 3 turnovers, which isn't amazing, but it's not terrible either. He was missing some free throws, which was a little shaky. He might have been taking a few too many threes. You know, he played well, but he didn't play fantastic, and he needed to play fantastic tonight if the Cavs wanted to win. I gotta give a shout out to a guy like Delonte West, though. Delonte West, I felt, played really well out there. He was hitting those step back jumpers really well. He was really providing a spark offensively for the Cavs, keeping them alive for parts of this game. He ended up with 22 points, 2 of 3 from behind the line, behind the arc. 4 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals. I thought he played fine. Mo Williams, not great, but very solid. 17 points, 5 assists, 3 boards. He looked shaky to start, but later in the game he kind of caught fire and was hitting some threes, hitting some jumpers. It really looked like Mo was starting to find himself. Not enough, but you know. But again, I'm gonna come back to the Ilgauskas thing. You know, he was getting abused by Howard, and that's whatever. I know his shot was not on really tonight. He was 1 of 5 from the field. He only ended up with 2 points, but I think he should be taking more shots. I think he can get open in this series. Well, could have. This series is over now. And I think he maybe could have hit those shots. I don't know why they didn't try to get it to Ilgauskas a little more. But, you know, it's... And Verjao I thought played a great game other than picking up a couple of dumb fouls, 14 points, played pretty well offensively. He took 1 or 2 too many jumpers that I'm not really a fan of, but it's whatever. 8 boards. So Verjao I felt was solid, but, you know, nothing from the bench. I mean, Ben Wallace gave them 4 points and 3 boards, but Ben Wallace got abused by Dwight Howard. I mean, it was pretty obvious that was going to happen, but that doesn't make it okay. So really nothing from the bench. Wally tried to play, and he was atrocious. Made me sick with his air balls. Gibson, not really a factor out there. He wasn't a detriment, but he wasn't a positive. So, you know, it comes down to those things. I mean, this Cleveland bench was good in the regular season. In the postseason, they didn't do it. I don't know, they couldn't quite step up to the higher level of competition, I felt like. So, season over for the Cavs. They had a great season. They got a great team down there, no doubt. And they could come back with these same guys next year and be a contender for the finals championship, no doubt. But, you know, they got to go into this offseason, make some decisions. Maybe Ilgauskas needs to get out of there. I think he's a free agent, and I think Verjao is too. I would keep Verjao, but maybe Ilgauskas, it's just time for him to hang it up because he does have ankle problems, and it does seem to bother him a bit. So, you know, they do need a true low post scorer. I don't know who it is. It's got to be somebody who's a big man who can score down low, but he also has to be able to hit mid-range jumpers and play a little bit from the perimeter, because, you know, it can't be a guy like Shaq. If it's Shaq, it becomes impossible or, you know, very hard for James to drive the lane because Shaq is going to clog up the lane, and so is Shaq's defender. So, got to be somebody like Pau Gasol or Hakeem, somebody who can hit mid-range jumpers, who can at least provide that threat. I don't know who it is. Maybe you go after, well, I'd say Carlos Boozer, but they already tried the Carlos Boozer experience, and it didn't work. And I think everyone in Cleveland hates Boozer, so no. Maybe you go after Paul Millsap, but I don't know how good he is. Off-season, long way away. Magic are going to the finals. They played excellent tonight in a closeout game that they knew they had to win. And it would have been very easy for them to come out shaky. It would have been very easy for them to blow that lead in the second half, but they didn't. They staved off several small attempts to make a comeback. They hit threes when they needed to. Dwight Howard played, I think, the best game I've ever seen Dwight Howard play. And they are headed to the finals. I will talk a lot about the finals before it starts, but we got a lot of time before the finals starts, so not going to get into that right now. Last thing I want to say is I do want to give ups to the referees. They could have influenced this game by giving the Cavaliers, like, 50 free throws or something. There were opportunities to make crappy calls where, touch fouls on Orlando, and they didn't. They let them play, and they let the better team win. There's no doubt. I mean, if they wanted to try and influence this series in this game, they absolutely could have. They could have sent LeBron to the line 25, 30 times, but hey, they didn't let it happen. So ups to those guys for allowing the teams to just play. I liked what I saw from them. So big NBA Finals coming up, a lot at stake. I'm going to talk about all of that in the days between now and Thursday. For right now, I'm going to give props to the Magic and some props to the Cavs for a nice season, and I'm done.